Erwin gives the greatest speech known to man, as he convinces the remaining scouts into a suicide charge to distract the Beast Titan from Levi's approach. But I'ma be honest, if he asked me, I would have been like,
get somebody else to do it.
Cause what do I look like doing that? And on top of that, I can even ride a horse. I would have had a better chance fighting a radioactive spider in the rubble and scaling the wall.
Hey man, it's your boy Alex, and welcome back to another bang.
Today, we're talking about Attack on Titan, and more specifically, when Commander Erwin and the Scouts took on the Beast Titan and his army. So if you have not yet seen episodes 52 through 55 of Attack on Titan, spoiler warnings ahead. And without further ado, it's time to get unhinged. So we start back to when Eren was trying to plug this fat-ass boulder into the hole in the wall, and there is chaos all around him. Meanwhile, Reiner and Bertold are just watching it happen, as they begin to talk about if they should intervene in their Titan forms or not. But little did they know, while having this top-secret conversation, they are suddenly interrupted by Marco, who heard the whole thing. And Marco was like, "What are y'all talking about?" And Reiner tells him that everything he heard was a joke. Time out. What kind of sick joke is that? And look at Bertold over here stressed out. I know all he was thinking was, oh no. But the worst thing about it is this man Marco believes them and flies away. But when he looks back, these two are staring him down. And now he's over here thinking, damn, I don't think they were joking. But then again, maybe they were. I mean, what are the odds that a random Titan that looks just like Reiner could actually be Reiner? And the moment he lands on a building, he gets attacked by guess who? And after he tackles him and restrains him, Marco screams out for help. And when Annie arrives, he's like, oh, thank goodness, I'm saved. But he quickly realizes that she's not gonna help him either, because all three of them are working together. When suddenly, a Titan begins to come their way. So Reiner tells Annie to take off Marco's ODM gear. And she's like, why do I have to do it? And Reiner says, I saw you risk your life back there to save Connie. And that was not part of the plan. So right now, you have to prove if you're with us or against us. And as the Titan gets closer, she begins to remove Marco's gear. And understandably so, this man begins to tweak out. But after chunking his gear through the window, they leave him to die. And the last thing they see is him being devoured by the Titan form of Shane Dawson. And to make things worse, Reiner's gonna have the nerve to ask, why is Marco being devoured? I'm sorry, is Will Smith flying around here somewhere? Like, what are we talking about? Anyways, we finally cut back to present day, right after the Scouts jump Reiner with their thunder spears. And moments after they thought he was defeated, he begins to yell out. And this is when the Beast Titan yeets Bertold over the wall. And when Armin notices this, he tells him that it's time to go. But even as they retreat, Armin knows that the Colossal Titan's blast radius is way too wide, so they might be cooked regardless. But instead of transforming, Bertold flies in and checks on Reiner. And after he makes sure he's alive, he heads towards the Scouts. So Armin steps in to negotiate. And he tells Bertold, hey man, let's just talk it out. And this man's response was utterly insane. He yells out to the entire Scout regiment that he only wants two simple things: Eren Yeager and for everyone else in the walls to die.
Bitch, are you dumb?
Pardon me?
Are you dumb?
Like, why would anyone agree to that? Actually, you know what, Bertold? I got you, bro. Let me just... And Armin was like, who decided this? And this man Bertold gonna talk about some I did. I bet you felt real tough saying that one, huh? And as Bertold and Armin continue their conversation, Mikasa comes out of nowhere and tries to take off his head, but he blocks it at the last second. But she counters back by cutting off his ear, so he kicks her off the roof. And when she charges back in, he dodges her attack and flies away. And as he flies into the air, he begins to transform, causing destruction all around him. And as the dust settles, the Scouts begin to regroup as they look up to see the Colossal Titan towering above them. And with the hope of victory dwindling down, Erwin turns to see the Beast Titan smiling in the distance. On the other side of the wall, Levi and some of the other Scouts were suddenly being pelted by giant boulders. And who threw those giant rocks, you ask? The lanky monkey Diddy Kong himself. And look at this man's stance. Based off of the foot alone, I can tell he chunked that with the utmost precision. But then again, it cannot be that hard for a 55-foot tall super ape to chunk some rocks at an entire town. And as he does it again, Levi flies down and tells the rest of the survivors to retreat to the wall. And as he meets up with Commander Erwin, they both realize they're in a world of trouble. Because on either side of the wall, there's a Titan shifter who wants all of them dead. And after the Beast Titan took out 3 of their squads, they're all that's left. And on the other side of the wall, Eren calls out to get Bertold's attention, but he completely ignores him. So they begin to run towards him. And as the Scouts scatter, Eren grabs his leg. And as he begins to push him, Bertold lifts up his foot and punches him into the wall. And now the Scouts fly in to attack him. And before Mikasa could take him out, he activates his steam and sends them flying back. And when you thought it couldn't get any worse, they look up to see the armor titan fully healed. And back on the other side of the wall, the scouts are going through it. For Erwin tells Levi there is still a chance for them to win, but it will come at a grave cost, as him and many of the other scouts will have to die, just so Levi can get a chance at the beast titan. And after Levi agrees, Erwin gives the greatest speech known to man, as he convinces the remaining scouts into a suicide charge to distract the beast titan from Levi's approach. But I'ma be honest, if he asked me, I would have been like,
get somebody else to do it.
cause what do I look like doing that? And on top of that, I can even ride a horse. I would have had a better chance fighting a radioactive spider in the rubble and scaling the wall. But more importantly, as they charge into the face of death, Commander Erwin screams out, "My soldiers push forward! My soldiers scream out! My soldiers rage!" As they proceed to get absolutely obliterated. And now their once mighty commander has now fallen in battle. As Erwin falls, the scouts continue charging, but the beast titan is just getting started, and as they shoot their flares, he takes out another row of scouts. But to his surprise, they keep coming, and once again, they shoot out their flares, but they also meet the same ending. But unbeknownst to him, someone else is coming, or should I say, they're already here, when suddenly, out of the smoke, Captain Levi burst on the scene, as he attacks the beast titan with the swiftness, and in the span of 5 seconds, Zeke has been blinded and brought to the ground by a man who is literally 5'3". And as Zeke tries to harden his nape, Levi removes his hand and then proceeds to slice Zeke out of the body of the Titan. And when he turns his head around, Levi sticks his blade in his mouth. But suddenly, the cart Titan appears and snatches Zeke up. And as they run away, we cut back to Eren's group as they try to figure out how to take out the Colossal Titan. And Armin realizes that the Colossal Titan's getting thinner, so he tells everyone that he has a plan. As he tells them to take Reiner away while him and Eren take on Bertold alone. And once they agree, the plan is in motion. And as soon as he gets to Eren, he stabs into him to wake him up, and after he tells him the plan, it's time to execute. But for no reason whatsoever, this man Eren somehow slips off the wall and falls to the ground, and now he's just laying there tooted up. And as Bertold swipes at Armin, he dodges the attack and gets into close range. Meanwhile, the rest of the scouts are taking on Reiner, and as they aim for his jaw, Sasha gets taken out, but Connie makes it, and now it's up to Mikasa. But we cut back to Armin, who's in the dead center of Bertold's attack, and even with the heat and steam, he's still hanging on, because he's aware that if the Colossal Titan's emitting steam, he's unable to move. And to give Eren more time, this man is willing to let his body burn away. And I mean, this man's meat is literally falling off the bone. And as he finally falls away, out of nowhere, Hanji comes in and attacks Reiner in the jaw. And with his mouth now open, Mikasa flies in it, and then proceeds to launch a thunder spirit down his throat and blowing him out the back of it. And when we cut back to Bertold, he looks down to see Eren has solidified his Titan form to seal the wall. And a second later, Eren pops up out of nowhere and cuts through his nape. And as Eren pulls him out, they have now defeated the Colossal Titan. And as he drags Bertold across the roof, he discovers Armin's burnt body. As Eren mourns his friend, he turns to see Zeke and the cart Titan appear behind him, and a moment later, they were right on top of him. So he grabs Bertold and holds a blade at his neck. But when Levi suddenly appears, the cart Titan and Zeke run off. And as Eren is about to give Levi his gear to run after them, Armin coughs. And how this man is still breathing is beyond me. And mind you, this is not a superhuman. This is a regular 15-year-old boy. And as Levi is about to give him the syringe, Mikasa sends the signal to end Reiner's life. But the moment she does, Zeke and the cart Titan come out of nowhere, attack Hanji, and retrieve Reiner. And on top of that, back on the roof, Commander Erwin was brought to them alive. I mean, barely, but still. But now, they have to decide who to use the syringe on, him or Armin. And Levi says to use it on the commander, but Eren does not agree. So Levi smacks him off the roof. But unfortunately for him, Mikasa jumps in and tackles him while holding a blade at his neck. And now everyone is arguing over whose life is more important. I mean, yes, Erwin is the commander, but Armin is the S-tier strategist. And before Mikasa could fully crash out, Hanji flies in and stops her. And now all the remaining survivors are on the roof, as they now observe this difficult situation. And now, Levi instructs him to take Mikasa and Eren away, so he can give the syringe to Erwin. And right before he does, the commander smacks it out of his hand, as he tells Levi that there may be more humans somewhere out there, outside of these walls. And now, Levi knows what he has to do. And as Bertold wakes up, he gets grabbed by Armin, who's been turned into a Titan. And the scouts watch in shock as he begins to get eaten. And as the commander passes on, they fly to Armin, as he rises out of his Titan shell as the new Colossal Titan. Alright, so that's it for today's video, but stay tuned for next week because we got some more bangers coming soon. And once again, I appreciate everybody for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as well. It's your boy Atlas, and I'll catch you next time.
nickel.